TJ, I do this for TJ because he's the one who loves this music.
So good.
It's a bop.
It's so good.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 10 of Parkside Chat. I'm Brian.
And I'm TJ.
I'm Liz, and this is Matt.
Hi, everybody.
Matt is Liz's husband, just in case y'all didn't know, and she didn't say it was her husband. So
I was
people
trying
could
to
be
be
thinking,
timely.
welcome, everyone. So TJ and I are just coming out of a long weekend where I think we're a little bit tired. So if our energy is a little low, we're going to try to pick it up for you guys because we had a Halloween party here at the house on Saturday night, which went very well. It was a lot of fun. And then yesterday we were filming content.
We were out in the sun all day.
Last night we were Halloween Horror Nights. So we had a packed weekend, but it was a lot of fun. And this episode is going to be a little different. We're not going to do news. We're probably not going to play the game either.
No.
Which is fine. We're going to talk all about Disney Cruise Line because Liz and Matt just got off the Disney Dream.
We did.
So you can't see the tan here.
We did. It was so much fun.
So welcome back, Liz and Matt. Let's see who's here. If you're here joining us live, let us know. Say hello in the chat. Kyle says, Kyle, I didn't think you would be here because I thought you guys would be still having fun. Kyle says, we missed you guys because Kyle and his partner were at Horror Nights as well last night. We just didn't run into them. It was a pretty busy night, but we did...
we did like three or four houses?
Four. We did 4 houses last night, so pretty successful. We're going to get Liz to come and do, maybe Matt wants to come and do Horror Nights. Would you do Horror Nights, Matt?
I joined the show. I mean, why not at that point? I'm already in it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the Horror Nights next year. We're going to get Liz to do Horror Nights next year.
Okay. I have
It's gonna be fun.
340 days to prepare. It's fine.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Kyle says that they came home today. All right, nice. Well, I hopefully travels were easy for you. All right, so let's get into it because potentially this could be a long conversation about Disney Cruise Line because TJ and I have both done our own sailings. I've done multiple, and Liz and Matt have cruised before, but this was their first time on a Disney ship. So let me change orientations here real quick. Why is my... Oh, there it is. Sorry, as I'm switching through all of the... This is the final slide. Oh my gosh. We're going to run through the whole slide really quick. Didn't even see that. It's a live show, so...
Wow.
Sorry, y'all. All right. So, guys, tell us about your embarkation. Where did you sail out of? Tell us about the planning of your trip. Like, how did that all go?
Matt, how'd that go?
It was great for me.
How'd the
Liz
planning go?
took lead on that. She was the captain of that ship.
I did. A lot of months and weeks of planning, figuring out what we wanted to do each day, checking the schedule of activities for port adventures. So we left out of New York City, which was super fun. I had never actually seen the Statue of Liberty up close.
What?
Like in person, right?
Like in person. I've seen it in textbooks. I've seen it in
But you've been to New York City, so you have to...
But you sail right by it.
Yeah, you really go right out of the port. You can just see it.
Cruise right by it, which was so fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
In particular, I loved how the port is set up.
Where's your picture of it?
I had it in the slideshow.
You did? Nuh-uh, I never saw it. I did not see it, Liz. I would not have deleted that.
Okay.
Anywho's.
Well, here, I'll pull it up on my phone and hold it up to the camera. But in New York, it's interesting because the ships pull right up to the port.
Okay.
And we could see the whole bow of the ship right there. Like I've never been that close to the front of a ship, I don't think.
Yeah. It was right up front.
Yeah, like it's right in this window right here.
Yeah. So that was that's a queue line of like a different boarding group. So that was like the 12:30 boarding group, folks standing outside getting ready to go in.
And what boarding group were you?
We had 11:45.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We got there, I guess around 11:30, and they were already letting groups from like 12 o'clock board.
Yeah.
So New York City seems to be very, like expedient with getting folks through. Like
Yeah,
People
good.
weren't really
Quick.
queuing outside.
I will say no one felt rushed. I didn't feel rushed. We went through a couple queues, went through the metal detector, and I don't know about y'all, but if I'm wearing nothing at all, and if I walk through a metal detector, for some reason I just feel like it's going to go off. But they were so friendly. They ushered us all the way through. We went through, checked our passports, made sure that everything was hunky dory, and then the walk into the ship. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so they called your name out like they normally do, right?
They
Yep.
did,
So
and
yeah,
I teared up, and Matt also teared up, which was
Oh.
really, really
Yes.
cute.
and I
So
will say,
did you do separately than your parents and Tim then? Did you have them call it
No,
out
we
separately
did.
or all together?
we were all
did
together.
all together. So we had them say the Holland and Young family.
You're going to say
Oh,
the Listen
nice.
family.
But
So for those who don't know,
really cute.
For those who don't know, when you sail on a Disney ship as you enter the ship, they ask you what your party name is, and then they announce your party name as you enter, and they do that for every family that enters the ship. And so it is a magical moment.
It's
I-
really, really cute.
I was not expecting it at all when they asked for the name. I can hear the clapping and everything, and the entire crew is so genuine. They're so excited to see you come on board. It really is a tearful experience. Like, you're just so happy to be on board. It's like the culmination of all the planning that all Liz had put together. You knew you were going to have a good time at that point.
Yes. No, it
And
was,
so-
it was wonderful.
And so I was gonna say after that you did they did the little show there. How was the safety briefing? Did you guys do that right after, or was it at a later time?
We had it a few hours later. I think it was around like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Yep.
And it's so important that people show up on time to these, because regardless of the cruise line, if they tell a time, show up at the time, because we waited outside for probably 30 minutes.
Yeah, I would say that's one thing that if you're going to plan out a trip, especially on a cruise, you want to make sure that you're going to have the designated times slotted for this safety, because it's important, it's mandatory, you have to be there.
Well, yeah, you have to check in. But people, I think people took liberty with what time to show up, because we had already been queued for like at least 15, 20 minutes, and families were still showing up.
Yeah.
And it was pretty frustrating because we can't leave until every single person on board checks in.
So is any of the process on the app anymore, or do you just go to your physical
It's all
station
near
now?
all the muster station now.
Yeah.
I know during COVID you could like watch the safety briefing or do like some of your check-in and then eventually show up to your muster station before sail away. But now you have to physically be in place at the
I
right
asked that
time.
because I remember ours. We had a bit of a kerfuffle, and the crew that was directing people didn't really know what they were doing,
Right.
and so we were kind of
Were
just
they
like
still earning their ears? What was that?
Kind
Really?
of. Because it was still relatively new into coming back from COVID. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it was a little bit. And then we didn't have to show up anywhere physically. I think we just had to stop by and take a picture of the.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm glad to hear that.
Do it.
I'm glad to hear that it's different now, and
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else noteworthy about embarkation? Actually, I want to ask you, Liz. So, how long is this itinerary happening? This specific itinerary, or
It's
how?
a 6-night cruise
Okay.
out of Bermuda.
So, but how often is it happening?
Oh.
Like, how often is Disney running this?
So we have a few more sailings left this year. Unfortunately, it's not been brought back for 2024, which a lot of East Coasters are pretty upset about. So there's hope and thought that it could come back in 2025.
So there's no other cruises out of New York City besides this specific itinerary.
They also do Canadian cruises. So the Dream will do like a few days in Bermuda, then come back and then go to Canada and then come back and go to Bermuda.
Okay,
It'll flip back and forth for the next couple of weeks.
got it.
And then this time next year, it'll be in dry dock. So they're not
And they really
offering-
just do this during the fall, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, and even before embarkation, a little side note: you can have stuff sent to people's rooms.
Oh yeah,
It's
You
cool
can. Remember I
wine
sent y'all
glass.
those?
Yeah.
Liz and Matt, which I'm sure Matt had less to do with it than it was all Liz.
Yeah, okay.
But
Was my
our
name on the
last
card?
Disney
Your
cruise.
name was on the card.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Matt's name was on the card. So they sent us this. Plus, I think we got a thermos, like a water bottle.
You should have
It was a
gotten
cute
like
little package.
almost like a bowling pin bottle.
Yes.
So yeah,
Um,
before your family or friends do a sailing, you can have stuff sent to their
Yes.
room.
Now, by the
Like
way,
little
our
gifts.
our beverage tonight is like a $7 to $10 Aldi wine that I would like to recommend. It's called well, I forget what it's called, but it's a Sauvignon Blanc is what it is, and it's actually very good. It doesn't
Korean.
have like it doesn't have a cheap taste at all. So
That's good.
Ours is water.
Aldi.
Yeah, we're going water tonight.
I think
Vodka.
we're still dehydrated from this trip, but more to come.
All right.
do
So, any other noteworthy things about embarkation?
No, just make sure you head to your muster station and then be ready to head up. There is a little bit of chaos when you leave your muster station because they're pretty much on deck 4.
Yeah.
I guess deck 4 and deck 3, and then there's a mad rush to get to the pool deck for the sailaway party.
Oh,
So
okay.
just have your
If you're able to
Your
take the
tough
steps, take the
britches
steps
on.
instead of waiting for the elevator.
But yeah, if you can take the steps, leave the strollers at home.
I don't think we had one.
At
a
least in
sailing-
your room.
sailing party.
No.
If you have the chance, try booking a room that's closer to the main elevators. You should be able to see a map of the ship, so if you can find something like that, then
Yes.
the muster stations are pretty much right there.
He prefers midship. I don't, but it's fair.
Dawson is here. Hey, Dawson.
Hey, Dawson.
Hi, Dawson.
All right, so let's move on to the cabin. So tell us about the cabin. I'm going to move us around here a little bit because I'm covering the picture
All the
of
pictures.
the
Do a
cord.
little
So
reveal.
stand by.
I will say while Brian's doing this, I think our cabin is the best location for adults. So if you're not traveling with kids, it's just you and your partner, your spouse, whoever, your best friends, you're all over 18. Our cabin was like prime location. So we were on deck 9 forward, right by the elevators. There was
9532.
9532. There was no noise from the elevators. There was
Oh, that's nice.
you couldn't hear anything of like families passing back and forth. But the most incredible thing was we were only a few decks away from Senses Spa. So if you're planning to book a first room or get a spa appointment, you could walk up 2 flights of stairs, which I know at home seems like a lot, but on a cruise it really isn't that much going up 2 flights.
Because you have all the adrenaline, you're all excited.
The adrenaline's rushing. Exactly. You're
If you're going to the spa, then you can make it up those 2 flights.
Exactly.
I will crawl up those steps.
And then, secondly, we fell in love with this bar named Currents on the Dream, which is on deck 11. No,
It's
deck
outside, right?
outside. And
Yeah, deck 12.
if you followed me on Instagram, you'll see most of my pictures of the ship are of the view from Currents, which it's just beautiful. You see both funnels. You have a great view of both sides of the ship. It was gorgeous at sunset. Shout out to Abby.
Oh,
Currents
Abby was great. Oh my
Abby
God.
was fantastic and
super
taking care of
attentive,
us.
super friendly, always willing to like go above and beyond.
But deck
So-
9 is perfect because you don't hear the pool noise from deck 11. So like
Yeah.
deck 10 could get
You're
a little
also-
noisy.
You're technically in the adult section, so like the pools that
Yeah.
are on the 9, is it 9?
Oh,
No, on
no,
the 11. I'm sorry.
like 11th and 12th floors. Yeah.
They are
Adults
designed
only.
for adults only, and the hot tubs are on that side too.
Exactly.
So tell us about the door culture on a Disney cruise ship.
Door culture is crazy. So
Jeez.
this was my first Disney cruise. It's Matt's first adult Disney cruise.
Yeah.
And we've heard about the door decorating and the magnets. They're amazing to figure out where your room is. So especially on the early days of your trip where you're still figuring out the ship, if you have a couple of things on your door, it will help you kind of like recognize where you are. And we did definitely find a few landmark doors that if we were coming from the back of the ship moving forward, we knew like, okay, we're almost there.
Oh,
Mhm.
So people go all out with their door decorating. On our cruise, we joined the Facebook group and they had a whole door decorating contest. So people went.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll definitely share some pictures on socials over the next week. But like these doors were crazy. Like
Yeah,
lights,
you need to share those. I want to see.
cobwebs. Like it was wild.
yeah. A lot of Haunted
Uh-huh.
Mansion. Like they had the
Lot of
masks on
Haunted
one of the
Mansion.
doors that were lit up with backlights.
So where did you get your Liz? Where did you get your door decorations? We can see your
So-
door decoration here.
One of them I bought on Etsy, which was like a little Mickey Mouse candy corn thing. So I had our
Mhm.
name put in, and I got one for my family's room as well. My parents gifted us, there's a Mickey and Minnie Mouse ones with our names. And then the other
Mhm.
ones are honestly just scrapbooking pieces. So
Okay.
it's if you have a laminator at home, which I realize maybe most of us don't, but
Do
my
we?
parents have a laminator, so I just laminated scrapbooking pieces.
Hmm.
And then it's kind of hard to see, but underneath our door number, we had a quote from Carousel of Progress.
That's
Um,
cute.
Oh,
just to
Remember?
have there on the door. Yeah, there's a great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day.
Hmm.
So that was really cute to have there, but this is like the worst end of door decorating.
This is a very
like,
limited.
Oh, you
amount
mean
of
yeah? Okay.
compared to others.
This
because
is the most basic. It's not the worst. It's the most basic.
it's the
of
most
decorating.
basic. And the nice reminder is that on any cruise ship, your walls in your cabin and then hopefully most doors are magnetic. So some cruise lines don't
Mhm.
let you put magnets on the doors. They want to keep it like a clean and fresh approach. Like Virgin Voyages will not let you put magnets on the door.
Right.
But magnets are crucial. So like hang up your hats, get the little magnets on Amazon. If you have important papers, you can get the ones with the clips, and
Yep.
then you can line your stateroom with all those important details.
One last thing I want to say about the doors too is a lot of people would hang up little pockets. I know that there's names for
Oh,
it, but
the
they would have
fish
little
extenders.
yeah, fish extenders.
Mhm.
And because it was
Oh,
trick or
mhm.
treat, that a lot of families would get like extra little pieces of candy or pixie
Oh.
dust,
Yeah.
and they would go around and drop off little gifts. And
Drop
trinkets.
off little gifts. So for those that haven't sailed with Disney, and again, it's kind of small in the picture, but to the left of our door number, it's either a fish or I think a starfish.
Yeah, I see
Uh,
yours is a starfish.
Yeah. And you can, it's literally a little hook. So some families you'll see will have like tiered baskets. You can put your names on them. And then in the Facebook group, you can sign up like, oh, I'll send off little ornaments or I'll send off little knickknacks. And it's just a way to have, I guess, extra magic on board.
It's nice to treat people nice.
On our cruise in particular, there's a lot of pixie dust theft and fish extender theft, which wasn't great.
What?
Yes, there was
What?
some
Oh, really?
first time cruisers that didn't know that it wasn't just like trick or treating, that you could just go in and like take stuff out of the basket. So a lot of folks
Oh.
were pretty frustrated,
Oh,
which was kind of sad to hear because
this is the first time
for
I'm hearing about
long
it.
time
That is sad.
cruisers, like the pixie dust and the fish
Mhm.
extenders was like a
Okay, so did you see Dawson's comment? Oh, and of course his comment covers our. Did you see Dawson's comment about pineapples? Have we heard about that?
fine.
Yes.
Well, we know about the pineapples, but on a cruise ship, on a Disney cruise ship.
I don't know about Disney,
Yeah,
but
so
just
we
cruises
did
in
actually
general.
see an upside down pineapple on a door when we were walking
We
through. I think it was like
Yikes.
day 2 we saw one. But here's the thing also. So see how this our door, everything's still kind of like in its place and like semi perfect. The children love them, but the children will run around and just
Yeah,
No.
it's like a
Mess
please
everything
touch
up.
museum.
Oh,
Just
no.
like, oh, what's this? do?
so the pineapple Dawson maybe was originally placed upside down, or maybe a child had moved it, but
I wouldn't put a pineapple on my door no matter what.
Oh,
well,
So
like I guess like maybe it was like for the tropics. Like we did a little
we had the island
little
over
beach
there.
scene
Yeah.
down there, yeah. But anyway, moving on.
okay.
No shame to
I
those who
have
do,
to-
but just, yeah.
I have to give a shout out to
Mhm.
our stateroom attendant Nilo,
Nilo was good.
who, like,
Mm.
when you think about Disney and especially Disney cruising, like, the details matter. And I'm sure he came into our stateroom, I think it was day 2 or day 3,
And he
saw
said, "What
all
a
of our
mess."
everywhere. And he was like, oh my gosh, listen to that. Y'all are a disaster
Yeah,
zone.
just pull it
Let
out of
me
the
help
backpack,
you.
threw it on there.
Let me help you tidy up your desk. And he had these little,
Like
it reminded me of the
Velcro.
Apple Store for like cable management
Yep.
to help
Mhm.
tidy up your desk. And I just thought that was the sweetest, most incredible
Yeah.
little like piece of magic that we could have had in that moment because it was a mess.
It's always like the little
Hmm.
details that really mean the most, which
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
It was
appreciated that. That
very,
was
very
nice.
nice.
And then of course we
So
had
go ahead. Sorry, Matt, to cut you off.
we had the towel animals.
Oh, towel animals, yeah.
He's a master. I could not.
Yeah, we didn't include any pictures of the actual stateroom because you can find those online. These were more like specific ones for our sailing. But they do
Tell
have
us about the soap. I want to hear about the soap.
the soap. So I am an H2O queen, love H2O products. I was so excited to get on board and see if they had H2O products still because I had heard that they do. And they do, under the demise of a Disney Cruise Line sticker on top of where it said H2O. So it was the same, sea salt products that we've come to know and love, but they just put a little sticker on top so that way
Disney
it
Cruise.
showed Disney Cruise Line instead of H2O.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful. I loved every minute. And then the last picture is just of a Disney Cruise Line towel because on Cruise Line, everything's branded. So even down to like the lights in the room had little hidden Mickeys. All the sheets had little hidden Mickeys on them. Like everything is very branded. And it felt very much like you were with Disney on this cruise.
Yep.
Dawson says he loves Italian animals, and probably so many people try stealing them, which I'm sure that happens.
I'm sure they
I
do.
may have contemplated. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, and the funny thing is, on other cruise lines, you have to sign out the towels. Like when we did Royal,
Yeah.
you have to sign out the towels when you go on an excursion. Disney is full faith on everyone bringing
Signing
them
out a
back.
towel feels like a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, but I guess on Royal, their towels were a bit bigger for the pool, so they were more like a home bath towel. I don't know.
On that note, though, we went on an excursion, and they had the towels from the cruise that they took with them, and they ended up forgetting them on board.
People
But
left
we were
them
able
on
to grab
board.
them and make sure that they
Oh.
got home.
We brought them back, but I'm like, guys, come on, this is crazy.
All right, so let's move on to some dining. So tell us about rotational dining.
Rotational dining. So Disney is a little bit different than other cruise lines that folks might have enjoyed, where on every Disney ship, there's 3 sort of main dining rooms, or what they call rotational dining rooms, where every single night you have the same server, assistant server, and head server, and they're there to make sure that you have a great experience, and then the menus change. So on our cruise, it was Animator's Palette, Royal Court, and Enchanted Garden. The food was all, quite good. I really enjoyed the images that I'm showing here. So it was a tuna tartare. I had a wild mushroom ravioli, which was really, really good. And then a pear salad. I'm
A pair of salads.
pear salad. I'm newly vegetarian. So it was interesting to see what the options.
You're not even doing
for
fish
me.
anymore?
No, I'm doing fish too, pescatarian, but they don't
Okay.
yet have an option for pescatarian. It's just vegetarian, I think, or gluten-free and dairy-free, but
Yeah.
Jazz is
felt
here.
like-
She says the
Hey,
tartare looks
Jazz.
amazing.
Yeah,
Hey,
actually,
Jazz.
it was really, really good. We definitely enjoyed the theming in each of the rooms. I wish that there was more light, and that you could see outside.
Okay,
but-
Grandma.
Okay. Well, you're on a cruise. I want to see the ocean.
Oh, you mean what do you mean light? Like windows?
Yeah, more windows.
Yeah, I will say that Disney
Okay.
cruise ships, the Disney cruise ships, you can see outside less in the dining rooms, but on Virgin Voyages, I feel like in the dining rooms and the restaurants, you can see outside more.
Yeah.
Especially the steakhouse.
Yeah, the
It's
steakhouse. Yeah.
crazy with the windows, but I guess for Animator's Palette has those incredible interactive screens. So we missed the Turtle Talk with Crush segment because we had dinner, which we'll talk about. But then we came back for the animation night.
right.
And I will say, seeing your image that you've drawn on the screens dancing was worth not having a
I
sea
wish we
view.
We had that.
Yeah, that was actually kind of interesting. So the IT, the technology that they use in order to make the animations, it kind of leads you into it at first. It's like, oh wow, they're moving, that's really cool, and then by the end of it, you're like, holy crap,
Yeah.
they're in movies.
They-
How
it
are they
was-
doing this?
It was really,
Mhm.
really cool.
Yeah, it went from oh, that's really neat to
So what was your favorite dining room? Your favorite themed dining room? Not based on food, but based on theme.
animator.
That was mine when we went.
They do have heavier chairs, I will say that. So if you're
Well,
hard at pulling out
it's
chairs, make
at the
sure.
way back at the ship. I would probably say Enchanted Garden
Really?
because you could still see outside.
So
another
the
thing
thing
that-
about Enchanted Garden that I didn't like on our last sailing, because I've been there a couple times, is they had taken away the little sphere booths.
The booths, yeah.
Did they bring them back?
No, but I've heard
Why? why would they
Oh.
not bring them back? It was kind of, even if you weren't sitting in them, which we did have that my first time in that restaurant.
I think people fought over them.
Yeah, you
Wisconsin
had to
gas
fight. You fought over them, but we got to sit in it the first time I went in there, and it was really nice. But even if you didn't get that booth, it's still really nice. It added to the restaurant, but I felt like not having them took away from that restaurant.
I think they turned into is it like the server stations now or something? Like I feel like I read that it turned into. I'm not sure, but
Sure.
I might be just.
So we have some questions coming through, and please put your questions in. And if you're watching after the live recording, even put your questions then. We will come back. We'll be notified by
We will answer
YouTube that you put in a question, and we'll make sure to respond to your question. So Dawson's question is not really on the topic of dining, but that's okay. He says, was there Disney music playing around the ship like how there
Yes,
are
and
at
it's
the
funny.
theme parks?
Dawson, you're too funny
That was on
because
point. That's good.
and they were definitely playing music throughout the ship the entire time.
Yep.
Halloween night, they turned it to like Halloween spooky music.
Yeah.
Pirate night, it was a lot of pirate music. But it felt like every single time Matt and I got on the elevator to leave our room to go somewhere, they were playing Feed the Birds from Mary
Every
Poppins.
single time.
So I don't know
Heard
if it
that
was
song,
like
and I'm like, I could go everywhere now.
I don't know if it was that end of the ship that was on like their 10-track
Yeah.
like loop, or if it was
Mhm.
just that was the loop. But it's just it's a funny inside memory for Matt and I. But they definitely were. They were playing lots of music.
Yeah.
The adult only sections in the evening did not play Disney music, but they played like more top 40 edited versions. But it very much felt as you were walking.
Yeah, Dawson, that's part of like the experience of a Disney cruise is there is Disney music playing in the halls. So for us Disney people, it is kind of nice and can be nostalgic. See how I play into
Wow.
Dawson there?
Good job.
That was a cheesy joke.
So it adds to the experience. It might seem it could be annoying, but I don't know. It's something a vibe about having the Disney music even playing as
It
you're
is.
walking back to your room.
Yeah.
And then like even
Or
in
on
the
your
room,
stateroom TV, they always had
Yeah.
the same track playing. So
Yeah.
we honestly, I
Birds
think we
too,
just
was
left it
kind of
on that
important
channel.
for
Yeah.
the children. Like as soon as they would hear calmer music, then while they're like inside and they're excited and all amped up
maybe
and doing
it was
all these
like
activities, it was something to like kind of like get them into the state of like bedtime.
maybe it was
Right.
a night. Maybe there's a nighttime playlist that would make
All
sense.
right. So M. McKinney says, with rotational dining, can couples sit alone, or are you sometimes seated with a larger group? Liz, do you want to take that one?
I can take that one. So, yes and no. So what I would recommend that you do is if you work with a travel partner like myself, or if you have your own, there are suggestions and recommendations that we can put on your account on your behalf. So if you want to have a private table, if you want to have a table next to like the entertainment, let's say we're on the Wish and we're looking at the Frozen environment or the Marvel, themed restaurant, there's recommendations that we can put on your account. They're not guaranteed, but we do recommend them. But definitely cruise culture is that you would be seated with additional parties. So if you're a party of 2, you might be put at a 4-top with another couple, or sometimes even up to a party of like 6, where it would be like 3 couples all together. But it's definitely recommendations that we can put forward on your behalf.
Yeah. So
And then-
nothing is guaranteed. Even I think even pre boarding the ship, nothing is guaranteed. What you also can do is if you want to increase your chances, you can also visit the podium earlier, and they
Yes.
can potentially make some adjustments. A lot of times the dining, there's a like lunch being served at one of the dining rooms when you first board the
That's
ship.
exactly right. Yep.
You can head over to that dining room and you can talk to the attendant there and see if they can get you a solo table. So even if you you tell your TA, your travel agent, that you want that, and they'll put it on your notes, you can kind of work a little bit harder and head over. It's not too hard. You just go over
No.
and see. Now, please be kind. They might not be able to move you around, so just you know,
Yeah.
keep that in mind. It's not guaranteed, but you can request it.
One
I
thing
have
too-
we've never sat with on our Disney cruise and any
Mm-mm.
Disney cruise in the
Well,
past
yeah.
because I knew people
You're
at
lucky.
Cruise Line. Yeah, I knew people at Cruise Line, so I was able to like bypass any of that.
You judged it.
Yeah, I judged that for sure.
One
What
thing
were you
to
gonna say, Matt?
Emily's point, you might be wanting like private dining for yourself because you might be worried that, you know, with a lot of kids it might be loud or kids are just food fighting over on the left. Two things to that: the kids were all angels. There was no crying. There was no
Oh,
yelling or
okay,
anything.
Matt. Well, that must have been really perfect for you.
But on another note too, I noticed that the ambiance of the whole area, like their sound quality was really good. They really, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how the dining rooms work out, but you really couldn't hear other conversations. You could
Well,
I
really
think-
hear just
I think
yourself.
Matt's right. I think that especially like with animators, there's different little alcoves, and they kind of break it up. And then the kids are also being, you know, entertained to some extent, especially in like animators, and I'm guessing especially in like the Marvel's restaurant on the Wish.
It's more of a show, definitely.
Yeah, some of them are more shows. Like I've been the Tiana's Palace or Place on the Wonder. I believe that's where that's on. So you have actual entertainment throughout the evening, so it keeps people entertained.
On the last night when we did animators, they had a show up before they played our pictures. And I think I was more in tune to watching that than eating my own food. I'm like, oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, look at that.
It's very well done.
Liz is like, can you eat? I'm like, oh, yeah, sorry.
So Dawson has a question. Do you pay each time you eat, or is it included? Also, how does alcohol work? Was there some sort of pass that you pay for in
wish,
advance?
Works well.
Dawson, you always come through with great questions.
I wish there was an alcohol package. So the main dining rooms are included. No extra fee. You would just pay extra for alcohol.
So Dawson, the food, just like the food that you see here pictured, that is included. That's all food that was included in the cruise fare.
Yes, all included if you eat in the 3 main dining rooms. Alcohol is separate, so there's no like prepayment or package that you can kind of sign up for. You can bring on more alcohol than I think other cruise lines, where it's actually per person. So for every adult over 21 in the room, you can bring on 2 bottles of wine,
Which is a fantastic thing about
750
Disney.
Yes.
By each adult. So
750 milliliters or a 6-pack of beer. So I brought on 2 bottles of wine. Matt brought on a 6-pack, and then you can enjoy that in your room as much as you'd like. If you want to bring a bottle of wine to dinner, they do have a corkage fee, but that would be similar to any, you know, BYOB restaurant that you would probably see at home. And then I do have a picture of it in a later slide, but for the beer drinkers, they have this thing called
the Stein.
the Disney beer. I forget what it is, but you pay, I think, $25, and then you can fill up your Stein for what it costs to fill up like a pint of beer. So you get a little bit of extra beer for free. And then you don't have to carry the Stein around with you. You can basically drink your beer, change in the Stein for this card, which is what Matt did, and then hold on to the card for the next time that you want to drink. So you do
Gotcha.
get, there's a little bit of savings there.
Also, how special the service is. Mentioning Avi before, he helped us out. He was great.
He recommended that Matt get the beer pass, which was great.
So one thing I want to note just before we continue, welcome in everyone. We are talking about Disney Cruise Line. We are talking about Bermuda sailing, a 6-night sailing out of New York City to Bermuda. We're getting into the details on everything. If you'll see over here on the left-hand side of the screen, you can get a free quote for your next adventure through Liz. If you scan the QR code or you visit planetwithliz.com, she can get you a quote for your Disney Cruise Line. One thing that I want to note is that you don't have to pay your Disney Cruise Line in full. So you do a deposit. I think I was looking at Alaska or something, and the deposit was going to be like $400. It depends on the cruise that you're going to sail on, what your deposit is. But don't think that you have to pay in full at the time of booking for your Disney Cruise Line voyage. you can put a deposit and then make payments over time up to a certain amount of time before your
120
cruise sail
days.
date. Okay, so it has to be paid 120 days in advance. So you can plan out. How far can they plan now? Is it 2025 or just
We're
2024?
into 25, yeah. So
Okay, so just
Nice.
keep that in mind as you're listening to this. Liz can help you out with this and get you booked. So whether you're watching now or you come back to this or you're watching in the future, Liz is here to help you with your booking. So I just want to make note of that as we're kind of plugging through.
thank you, Brian.
Any more food? Well, we're going to talk more about food
We're
because
gonna
we're going to
talk
talk
more about
about specialty dining. But any more questions about rotational dining? And I know Jazz has a question here, so let's bring up Jazz's question. Do they allow you to bring your own
Yes.
corkscrew, assuming you don't have screw top bottles?
Yes. So we actually packed, we did pack a proper corkscrew because Matt chose a red wine that was not a twist off. And yeah, there was no
Fancy.
trouble with security.
But you can also ask room service. So Jazz, if you don't have your own corkscrew, they're not going to charge you to bring the corkscrew from dining from your room service, which room service is 24/7. Am I correct in saying that, Liz, or no?
24/7 except for your
Okay.
last day. They close at I think 1 a.m. But yes,
So if you
free
don't have
and
a corkscrew, order the cheese plate, which everyone loves the cheese plate, to order that from in-room dining, and then order your corkscrew and have it delivered. They're not going to charge you anything extra for that. As long as you're opening in your room, they're not
Yes.
going to charge you extra. Anything else on rotational dining?
That's boogie.
I'm trying to keep us on track because
I
we
know.
could talk for hours
We
about
got
all
a
of
chatty
this.
Cathy over here.
And
Fun tips and
I'm
tricks.
excited. It was
Matt's doing great.
Yeah.
Everyone's
It was a
doing
good
good. We're doing perfect. And we love questions, so please put your questions in. All right, so this is kind of what I want to hear about, and I'm going to have to change our orientation here again.
Yeah, we don't care about
But talk to us, because I have not been, in fact, I haven't been on any holiday. I've never been on a Halloween sailing, and I have not been on a Christmas sailing.
Merry Christmas.
So tell us about it.
Take it away.
I'll let you start, and I can fill in the details.
It was a blast.
Okay.
Please take away.
So Halloween on the High Seas was super cute. As soon as you walked in, we saw this big ornate tree in the lobby in the atrium, full of pumpkins up top. We didn't go to the kickoff for it. It looked really busy, and I was like, I'm not prepared for that. But this was on day 2.
So do they do more than what they do for Pirate Night? Is it way more involved than Pirate Night for
It
this
felt
night?
way more involved.
Yeah.
Definitely. So there's tree lantern lighting ceremony, and then the menus weren't different. They were not different in the restaurants, but everyone was dressed up. So Matt and I and my parents and brother, we came as Toy Story characters. So I was Mrs. Nesbit, which was the folks loved it. We all had matching T-shirts.
Yep.
Matt was Ham.
I was Ham. I had the boulder dash on top.
And the almost like Dr. Evil pork chop with the hat.
Yep.
Tim was Woody, so he had a cowboy hat and a shirt. My dad was a Green Army Man, and my mom was Wheezy.
Very
And
nice.
the crowd loved us. It was super cute.
I will say that this is on me. I really didn't think that people were going to go overboard with it. So I was like,
Oh,
we're
okay,
just
man.
casual. We're not going to go crazy. Why would we want to do that?
It
And
was
then
like-
I'm looking around. I see a legitimate Cruella de Vil that was
Yeah.
dressed to the nines.
Like a grandma, someone's proper grandma.
No Dalmatians were harmed in the making of her
with
costume.
her whole family were Dalmatians, and it was
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
it was really, really cute. We met some amazing people this night.
Yeah.
Fifi and Shane, this is a picture of Fifi and Shane.
So
with
now
Matt.
I thought this was actually Aurora, but this is actually someone in costume
No,
as
this is
Aurora.
the-
Yeah,
Yes.
this is at
Yeah.
the adult
Wow.
the
Halloween.
adult Halloween.
You guys you and her look
I
like
was gonna
twins,
say that's a
Liz.
little weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
She is my
That's
queen.
a
what can I say?
compliment to me. I don't know that it's a compliment to Fifi, but no,
Liz, you're
Fifi's an amazing
gorgeous.
performer. We met them on day 2, and then we continued on throughout the rest of the sailing with them and their husband. But their costume, full Aurora,
Love.
Movie quality, it was incredible.
Yeah, the
Um,
candles were gorgeous.
They had
So-
a costume contest. Adult
Dawson
dance
Dawson does
party.
have a question in regards to this. Is there trick or treating?
There is.
There
So
is.
on
I do remember that.
deck 11, where Cabanas is, which is the breakfast and lunch buffet option, they did a whole trick or treating where we could have probably walked away with 3 not so scary level bags of candy, but we just got 1 bag to share. We're like, we can save it. We
Mhm.
found later that they gave away 74 cases of candy.
I
So
was
like,
gonna say that. Good job.
imagine like a computer display. Like, what's this? Like 15? No, this is like 20 inches.
Yeah, 20 inches.
Like big moving boxes of candy. They gave away 74 cases of that
Handfuls.
Wow.
on their scaling. So
Mm.
people filled up.
And choice candy. Like it wasn't just like little hard candies that
No, it
grandma
was
leaves
very
in the
good.
candy dish.
It was very good.
It was good.
And then they had a dance party on the pool deck. So like
Cool.
that
Mm.
Minnie Mouse in her costume.
Yeah, they had the characters
They had
enter
the.
through the crowd, which was really interesting. I was surprised that they did that, but
It felt more like
It went off without a
Disneyland
hitch.
with their characters. Honestly,
That's what I feel. I feel like
People are
on the
free
cruise,
roaming.
yeah, on the
Yeah.
cruise line, there's more. It feels more like Disneyland characters,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's a much
Mhm.
better character experience on the ships than at Walt Disney World.
100%.
We
agree.
ran into Minnie Mouse. You'll see the picture on Pirate Night, and she was just walking on deck 12, just like strutting her stuff. I'm like,
Mhm.
that's Minnie Mouse. I want to go say hi. So the character entertainment was also incredible.
Yeah, that's kind of the magic of the Disney Cruise Line
Mhm.
is because you will see characters in random spots. We did on our sailing, and it just kind of reminded me of how that's part of the magic of Disneyland, seeing characters like that, but it's definitely part of the magic of Disney Cruise Line. It's a much different environment than what we
Yes.
have here at the parks at Walt Disney World. So Jazz has a question, and she is. Well, she doesn't have a question. She has a statement. It's great that everyone can fully dress up on the cruise line versus being limited at the parks. So there are limitations at the parks, especially with masks and face coverings. So
Mhm.
is there any restrictions? Were you given any rules on what you could
Same.
do or you not could do?
So the mask rule was the same, but I think in both the parks and on the cruise line, it's purely a safety precaution. So you could have a mask, but you couldn't be walking around with it. So like, let's say you wanted to be
Mm.
like a character from a Lego movie. You could have it in front of you, but if you're walking around, you have to have it like flipped up. And then if for a photo op, you could put it back
Yeah.
on. That's fine.
Because
I
they
saw
don't
a
want
couple
somebody
people
to
that
walk
have a
into a
partner
railing
face.
outside and fall over
Exactly.
the railings.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Exactly. But no, the costumes were like second to none. I think because maybe less from like a parks party where like you're walking around a ton.
Yeah.
You're walking a lot on a cruise ship, but you're not really covering that much land, and you're certainly not getting on any attractions. So like we met Ursula with like all of the tentacles out, like something that you
Mhm.
couldn't do,
That'd be so fun to meet Ursula at sea like that. That'd be
Yeah.
cute.
hmm It was
Well,
so
this
good.
is a lot of fun. I definitely want to do a Halloween sailing, and I want to do a Christmas
I was
sailing
gonna
at some
say
point
I
too.
want that Christmas one.
Yes, for sure.
Mhm.
Love the vibes. Anything else? Was there any like specialty food that night, or was it just standard?
There was a specialty
food.
food at one of the restaurants. I forget what restaurant it was, but it was a spider cake.
Oh no, they were doing a like a play on Ratatouille where you could like be your own chef. So one of the kids' activities that day was you could make your own spider cake.
Matt didn't go. You didn't go to that, Matt.
Actually, I tried.
But they had
Excuse me.
in the Navigator. There's so many things to do. Like we did a lot of trivia, we did a lot of bingo.
Yeah.
But they had so many things with like kids only or tweens or Oceaneers Club. Like they had a bunch of stuff to do. But occasionally the entertainment director would get on the radio or get on the announcement system and say, what's coming up next. And one of the things was make your own spider cake.
Cool.
It was for the little ones.
All right, so we're gonna move on because we're not even halfway through these slides
I
yet,
know.
and it's already 8:45. We're gonna keep it moving.
Let's go.
All right, so let's talk about Bermuda. Ooh, I can see Matt there. He's
Wait, that's cool.
He's on a
Paddleboard.
a paddleboard. So tell us about Bermuda. Tell us about the itinerary. How long were you in Bermuda? What happened? And like a highlight of some of the activities that you did. But let's start with how many days were you in actually in
We were in
Bermuda?
Bermuda for 3 days.
3 days.
So, day 3, 4, and 5, right? Day 3, we actually stayed overnight into Bermuda into day 4.
Yep.
Day 4, around 5 o'clock, we left port. We had pirate night, which we'll get to.
Okay.
And then we returned for day 6. And then on day 6, we left around 5 o'clock again.
Okay.
Day 3 and 4 were super cloudy, overcast. Like you can see in the picture with Matt paddleboarding, like it was bright, but it wasn't like total bright sunshine.
It wasn't
Water
blue
was
skies.
still like
Yeah.
nice and warm though, so at
But
least that.
the water
That's
was
good.
gorgeous. The other
So
two
what was the weather like? Was it like super humid? Was it like
No,
No,
not
it was
humid?
like-
What was it?
It was like 76 and no humidity,
wow.
so still warm. I mean, we're coming from the East Coast up north where it hasn't been warm, so it still felt good. We could wear shorts and a t-shirt
yeah.
and be
The
fine.
UV level was a 3.
UV
so that's
level
good.
was really low.
Now, part of just a mind tip we hit. Part of the cloudiness here was because there was a tropical storm, I believe,
There
that they
was,
kind of
yes.
just missed.
We did.
Yeah. Well, the sail in was a little.
Sailing to Bermuda was a bit choppy,
Oh.
but fine. Like they didn't put the little baggies out on the
No, nothing
the
like
railings
that.
or anything like that. But it was rough seas. And then it had finally, like the storm had finally cleared by day 5, which day 5 was like gorgeous, bright sunshine.
Yep.
It was incredible. In Bermuda, we did a catamaran sailing.
Jumped off a boat.
So Matt jumped off a boat. We did we did paddle boarding and scuba diving
Oh, snorkeling.
or snorkeling. Yes, you're right.
That would be wild.
Then day 4, we went to Horseshoe Bay Beach, which are the other 2 photos. So that big like rock thing, and then the beautiful pink sand beaches.
Clear water, pink sand.
It was gorgeous. Even like those pictures are from a cloudy day, and it was still breathtaking there.
Yeah, it
one
looks
cool
like
thing
it was
about-
still
it's
pretty.
still nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One cool thing about Horseshoe Bay was that they had 2 separate sides. There was the main beach in the middle, and then if you go on to either side, and this is what one of the pictures was, it's just covered with like rocks and the mossy rocks on
Moss
the
and
bottom there,
everything.
and it's just really just a sight to behold.
It was really, really pretty.
So did you eat any food while you were in Bermuda? Anything like that?
We did. We
Yeah.
stopped on day 5. We got off right off the boat, and we went to the National Museum,
Yeah,
Which
there's
was-
a lot there.
which was really interesting. And then we ate at a local spot right there called the Bonefish Grill. Not the Bonefish Grill like we have, but it's just called Bonefish
Got it.
Grill.
Mhm.
I had
It was like you went to a chain.
No, because there's actually no chain restaurants or fast food on Bermuda.
That's awesome.
Good.
We love it.
Yeah.
No McDonald's, no Burger King.
So did you have any like seafood? Did you have any like what did you eat? What was the vibe?
I had the fish tacos, which were incredible.
Very
like-
filling,
Like
like just
Just-
thick, chunky.
really, really good. I forget what you got.
I got the chicken wrap,
I
which
got
was
chicken
also
wrap.
very
It
good.
was also very good.
Nice.
But the interesting thing, so in the picture with the houses
Mhm.
in the country of Bermuda, no 2 neighbors can have the same colored house. So if you're
Oh,
driving
really?
down the street, every single house has to be a
So
different
that
color.
blue house must be huge. It's taking up the whole
Well, I think
left.
it's- I think it's a different street. Like this
Okay.
is like up a mountainscape.
The roofs have to be white.
The roofs are white and they're painted with limestone because Bermuda does not have a central
Running water,
like
really.
water system.
Yeah.
So you collect all of your own natural rainwater and then the limestone
Wow.
purifies it.
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah, they had said at one point, like, "Oh, if the roof is dirty, just drink
Yeah,
it."
so it's funny because if you drive around, you start to notice, oh, that person's house, their roof is really clean. The next one, ooh, not so much. So our tour guide on the catamaran was like, if you ever are welcomed into someone's house and they don't have a clean roof, just ask for a can of beer because we know that it'll be clean and don't have their tap water.
Yikes.
Mm.
So Dawson brought something up. He says 3 days. That's a lot.
It
The
was a
last
lot,
ship
wasn't
that I went on, we were only at our stop for like 4 hours. So it is not very common for a cruise itinerary to be somewhere for 3 days.
Hmm.
We ourselves this year, Virgin Voyages in the Mediterranean, we were at Ibiza for 2 days, so we have somewhat experience. But I think 3 days is quite a bit of time. So what did you feel about this itinerary and being only really one stop? You only really stopped at Bermuda. How did you feel about
One-stop
that?
shop. We were talking a bit about this at dinner on the last night, where it didn't really feel like a cruise because we were in the same location for 3 days. But now that I've had about a week to think about it, we had one full day there on Monday, so a week ago.
Hmm.
Then the next day we left around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and we had a full sailing experience. Like you could feel feel the boat moving, feel the ship moving. And then day 5, it almost felt like you woke up in a new location, even though it wasn't. But you were re-energized, like, oh, we've arrived somewhere.
Yeah.
And it was nice because the island has a lot to offer, even though it's only 21 square miles.
Yeah. 21 or 22
So
square miles.
if we only had one day, like you wouldn't have been able to experience a number of things. But we were fortunate to be able to do a catamaran sailing, go to Horseshoe Bay Beach, and also explore the island on our own. Where like for you, Dawson, going to a port, or even, with you, Brian and TJ, like if you're only there for one day, you literally can choose an excursion or try an adventure on your own.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But like for
I think
us, for day 3, we were comfortable.
we really
getting
liked.
off. We knew where we were.
We liked being in Ibiza for 2 days because we got there. Well, it wasn't really 2 full days. We got there at nighttime. We were able to do dinner and see the place at night. That's the
Hmm.
thing with cruising. You don't get to experience a location at nighttime
No.
for most stops. And
No.
so that's the thing. You miss out on a piece of, I think, culture. Like for Hawaii, like I don't know if I'd want to sail through Hawaii because I think that Hawaii at nighttime, even though I was young when I was there was definitely a special feeling at nighttime. So there's certain
Right.
places that I want to also get the nighttime vibe. And if we were just in Ibiza for the day, we
Totally
wouldn't have experienced, what the nighttime had to offer. So I think that staying overnight is a nice thing to be able to do because you can get back on the ship like it's your hotel room.
Exactly. Which we didn't do because we had Palo dinner and I fell asleep right afterward because I was so full and happy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we had
Mhm.
plans of like going out and doing nightlife, but
Right.
I was darn near
It all hits you when you're in the moment, especially when you get food in your stomach,
Hmm.
and
And
especially
Palo
Palo,
dinner.
which is rich
God.
food. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
All right. So can we move on to the next slide? Anything on
Let's
this one?
boogie.
Go.
All right, let's boogie woogie. All right, so now we're going to talk about specialty dining. So let me just set this up. So on the Dream, there's 2 specialty dining rooms. There is Palo and Remy's. And I know that Liz and Matt, I think you guys went to Remy's, correct? So tell us about
We did
Remy's.
Palo. We changed
Excuse me, they did Palo.
Wow.
it.
We did
Palo,
Remy's.
Yes.
I had it
did
backwards.
Palo dinner and Palo brunch.
Yeah. Oh
So
my gosh. So hungry again.
you did both?
Mm-hmm.
Well, bougie.
Fancy.
Yeah.
So bougie.
In that
Well,
race,
I have done Palo brunch before pandemic, which was a different experience than is now. So
you had the
please,
buffet.
I had the buffet, which was fantastic. It's the type of buffet where there's caviar on the buffet.
Right.
So
Yeah.
unfortunately, they don't have that buffet anymore. But tell us what your thoughts were on both the brunch and the dinner, and which one do you think, if you were to go back again, would you do brunch or would you do dinner if you had to choose one?
Well, so for dinner, I did the prefix menu, which was $45. I think the pricing will soon be $50 because they gave us a $5 credit. So future cruises, it might change to $50 per person. But I loved it. I loved the price fix menu. It was perfect. I got an appetizer, entree, and dessert. Couldn't have asked for any better
For
food.
$45, that's not bad. You are paying
Not
I was gonna
extra,
say
but I
it's
don't know.
definitely worth it.
Not
That's
bad.
worth it.
I was spoiled because we had this on day 3.
Yep.
Right? It was a first night in Bermuda. And all I wanted to eat was Palo. after that. Matt did the a la carte menu.
I did. I had lobster.
Parpadelle.
Parpadelle.
Parpadelle. His pasta was really, really good. I had the ravioli that's pictured there at the bottom left corner. And then my burrata appetizer was the top left corner as well. I'm not even a tomato fan, but I destroyed the whole plate.
Very
Then for brunch, we had brunch on the last day, the C day. And Palo brunch is only offered on C days. So Palo brunch is super sought after. If you're pearl, platinum, gold, all of those will probably get eaten up before you could even have access as a silver or first-time cruiser. But don't fear, continue to check because people change their reservations. And then also you can ask when you get on board the ship to see if there's anything available.
Yes, if you can't get specialty dining prior because you're too late, go as soon as you board the ship.
Yeah.
Go straight to the podium on the ship and see if you can get specialty dining at the podium.
Because even for us, like we didn't have Palo brunch until the window closes 3 days before you get on. So we must have booked it day 4. Like before we left.
You will get everything that you want as long as you were kind.
Absolutely.
Let's just say that. You will get anything that you want.
Be nice to the crew members and the cast members. Like
Be Kind Rewind.
They're such lovely people, and they're there in these incredible service roles to help. And we actually ran into a tough customer on our excursion, and I was just like, there's no reason for this. Like, just be nice. Don't be mean.
So I'm looking at this Mickey waffle, and it's kind of giving
God.
It's giving me Santa.
I know.
If you
That's
look
what I
at
thought
the
it was.
Santa hat on.
That's what I thought it was. I was like, Christmas?
This Mickey waffle changed my life, which is why it's here in the slideshow. Because the Mickey waffles at Cabanas or in the main dining rooms are good. They're decent. We're used to them at the restaurants in Walt Disney World. Used to them at Disneyland. This waffle, it was a strawberry waffle. So there were strawberries on the inside.
Ooh.
It was light and fluffy. Was not hardened by sitting in a chafing dish for Lord knows how long. But no, jokes aside, it was incredible. The whipped
So this
cream
was the best
fresh.
Mickey waffle you've ever had.
The best Mickey waffle I've ever had.
She even got closer to the mic for that.
I couldn't even
I
share.
did.
She's like, no.
Ooh, ASMR.
I could do an ASMR too.
Okay.
And then up top is the chicken parm. So I guess that's probably the number one, like most requested item at Palo is the chicken.
So is the
parm.
chicken parm at brunch?
At brunch, yeah.
It does look delicious. It's plated a little sloppy, but it looks delicious.
I know. Matt was
I think it's
mad
just the
because I
juice
took
at the
a picture
bottom.
of that one, and my mom's one was a better picture, but she had already.
It's all right. It's all right. We forgive.
But really, really good. It was like a Parmesan crust with a risotto underneath. Like, if you watch any Disney food blogger or Disney food blog for that matter, they always mention the chicken parm.
One thing that's not pictured on this that I definitely want to call out was the antipasties that we had.
Oh, the charcuterie
Ooh.
board.
So
Yeah.
they provided,
Nice.
we could have one of each technically,
The
like
seafood,
one
yeah.
couple could have one at a time because there were two families sitting at the same table. We were allowed to have both. So we had all of the different dried meats, cured meats, the cheeses,
and then a whole seafood board, and it was incredible. And the
Nice.
pizzas were also really good.
So,
But
we had
brunch,
pizzas. Yeah, we had a lot.
brunch is $45 per person.
So
and
between
these
the
are adults only.
Between the four of us, I will say that we would recommend everyone here in this chat right now. We would definitely recommend the specialty dining. We did Remy, the Remy brunch, which was fantastic. It was multi-course, and if you really want a culinary experience, then you should book specialty dining. Disney food is good, I will say, on the ships. But the specialty dining really is where things shine in terms of food on the Disney ship. So I definitely recommend specialty dining.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do the Remy dessert option, but we just ran out of
money.
Can you just go for dessert there?
They have like a dessert tasting that you can do.
Oh, yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on if that's okay. We're going to talk about adults only experience.
Yes.
So let's get into it because I know some money was won. Some havoc was caused in the district by Matt and Liz.
There really was.
And
Poor Maurizio had to
so
deal with us for 6 nights.
let's get into it. It looks like they're putting on a full performance. I don't know exactly what you're wearing there, but
It was pirate night.
Okay.
So I had a
tell
red
us
dress on
about
with my
it.
bandana. So the district is the adults only section on the Dream. Number of bars, there's the Champagne Bar Pink,
Mhm.
Pub 687, which had a lot of trivia. It was like an English sports bar. The District Lounge, which had live music and also trivia.
Mhm.
And then Evolution,
An evolution.
which was where we lived. Evolution had the like all the nighttime game shows, the trivia's, bingo.
Yep.
It's like definitely a larger venue. It had a stage.
I will
So
say
we
that
did
evolution,
karaoke there.
hold on,
Evolution.
For bingo, they also did allow kids to be a part of it, so it's definitely for an adult area, but kids are welcome.
So for bingo only, kids could come, but if they won, they had to be accompanied by an adult to actually cash in the winnings. So Matt won bingo on the first night,
I was shocked. I could
which
believe
was
it.
incredible.
on a paper.
He won
thing.
$500. They have different bingo cards that you can buy, whether it's paper or electric. The second day,
Oh, I see. So that's electric?
No,
No,
that's
his
paper.
is paper.
Or is that
I'm
paper?
old.
So you
Okay.
just circle it?
They
Yeah.
put it in a sleeve so they can reuse the sheets with
Okay.
dry erase marker.
Got it.
So he won 500, then I won 477, which is a random number, but it's basically what the pot evened out to on day 2. My dad won, poor
Jeez.
thing, love him. He won almost $60 on the second to last day.
He was just
But
as excited as all of us.
It was
though.
incredible. $1 and $10,000 jackpot,
Jeez.
which no one won.
Yeah, you have to.
on
There's
our
certain
families.
stipulations that revolve around making sure that you get the right numbers called, but
You have to win it within a certain amount of numbers called, but
Hmm.
really, really exciting. We did karaoke, which I chose
We
Don't
did.
Go Breaking My Heart from Elton John. And
Mm.
Matt, I guess, didn't know that song.
I did not.
So he did
No.
that show. Wouldn't have known that he didn't know it. But then
ask
the
me.
the image below is the beer token card that I was talking about earlier,
Right.
where you can, pay for a larger beer in advance, but then, you
Yeah,
get
so
charged.
Did you guys go to the champagne bar?
We walked in, and it's funny because we went to a beverage tasting day 1, and we
Yeah.
met the lead bartender from Pink. And I
Mhm.
was like, I'm gonna be back. He's like, I got Pinot Grigio for you. I'm ready. Like, we made this great connection. Didn't go back until like 10 o'clock on the last night because
I love
that-
Pink.
Oh, it was so
Like, I
pretty in
didn't
there.
take
So
any
pretty.
pictures or video
Mhm.
in there. We lived in Evolution, 687, and Currents. Were
Yeah,
the 3
Currents
places
is
that
we
we
hung out way longer in Currents than I was expecting. Especially
Currents
It
because,
makes me want to book. It makes me want to book a Disney cruise right now.
Let's
Mhm.
do it.
Let's
go.
do it.
Super, super fun.
It was really, really fun. But there's lots of places to hang out with just adults. 687 had, I won't say all of the sports games, but if your game aired on a Disney owned station, it would show up.
yeah, nationally televised,
No, Disney owned,
Disney owned.
not nationally televised. But it was good. We had a great time.
So
What time
basically,
do
you
you go
can't
areas
can't
closed?
watch Premier League.
I think 1:00 was the latest.
No, they wouldn't
Yeah.
have had Premier League. The latest was, I would say, like 1:30. It was actually really sweet, and I wasn't mad at all. But one night we were at Evolutions,
They said get out.
and it was
It's just
midnight.
Jack.
We had finished. I think there was like some sort of game show that was there that night. Oh, it was the karaoke night. It was pirate night, and Maurizio, who was the lead like evening entertainment guy, who I definitely have a crush on.
See that?
He was just so charming. I can't describe it.
Wow! Whoa!
His name was Maurizio. He's from Guadalajara, Mexico, and
Nice.
he made our trip, hands down. Him and Abby made our trip. But anyway, they were doing a cast karaoke in there that night, so they kicked us out at midnight. They were like, "Come on, listen, Matt, you got to go. Keep it moving." And then
Wow,
they
that's a
had
very Liz and Matt thing to happen to y'all.
It was.
Yeah, they
It
did
was.
call us by name too. They're like Liz, Matt.
Oh yeah,
you
no,
go, you go.
they plenty of
Mm.
people knew who we were. It was
Yeah.
great.
That's the thing too. When you're on the cruise, you just constantly meet people that you see over and over again. You know, you're in a
Mhm.
finite spot.
It was cute. All right, next.
Oh, sorry. Okay, next. Okay, so Pirate Night.
Fireworks at sea. This was really, really sweet and special. All the characters dressed up in their pirate gear. Of course, an incredible fireworks show in the evening that night. We had to sail for about 2.5, 3 hours, and then we could actually have the fireworks go off.
Right.
The stage show with the pirates was really cute as well.
Did they have a sword fight?
Well, the funny thing is that we missed the stage show, most of it, because we had a bourbon tasting that night that ran late because people showed up late,
Mm.
which was like the theme of the week was that people were late. So it cut into our, not you.
Oh no, it
Oh,
wasn't.
okay.
What'd I do?
I was,
No, they ended up being a really sweet group, but these 3 ladies strolled in like 15 minutes late, so the guy had to start over again.
Oh, see, I would have just kept going. You
And-
get
oh.
whatever tastings you miss, but you don't get the explanation.
I was just like, come on.
So, what's on Matt's shirt for Pirates Night? Is it parrots?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
parrots.
parrot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they give you little bandanas in your stateroom for
Mhm.
everyone, so that help with our costumes. But
Mhm.
similar to Halloween, people dress up for this, which is
Yeah,
they
far
must
away.
bring trunks of clothes between.
There was an
Halloween
English
and
couple that they dressed like Captain Jack would have.
full,
They had the
full
full like
pirates
the smoker's jacket.
coat and everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
But the fireworks show was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that.
And Disney is, I think, the only cruise line that can have fireworks being shot off from the ship, which is pretty cool. And you'll see, I don't know on this sailing because you're kind of more remote, but on other sailings, especially in the Bahamas, the other ships will line up, or not line up next to, but in the distance,
Yes.
You'll see 'em.
other ships come up and
The
circle
greedy
around
cheap
Disney.
ships. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll pull around.
Oh.
No, one of the entertainment girls said that. She was like, "Just look out, people will line up." There were a couple other ships near us, which
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Like, it's a
Yeah, of
win-win for their
course.
guests as well.
It's of course.
Mhm.
I kind of want to see that from far. You know,
Right.
like
Cool.
myself. Yeah. All right. So we're moving on. We are going to talk about beverage tastings. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but talk to us about the beverage tastings because this is something that I want to do and have not done.
We had the chance to do 3. We did the Kickstart Your Day beverage tasting on
The first
day 1,
yeah.
which had a mimosa, Bloody Mary, and then 3 juices from the Senses bar,
Yep.
Senses juice bar, which were really, really tasty. We also did a martini tasting, which had 5 different martinis, and you can see the glass. It's probably about maybe a shot and a half, 2 shots worth.
It's probably 1.5 ounces. Yeah.
um,
That's an
with-
espresso martini. That's an original espresso martini.
Ooh.
Ooh.
tastings of those, which were really, really nice.
They had a lot of talk
Perfect.
about
Like the history of martinis and
Where it
where they
came
come
from.
from.
Prohibition.
Where do they
era.
come from?
Okay,
From the
well,
bottom.
so in the Prohibition, there was a glass maker, I guess, that he
Yeah, it wasn't
mishandled the
made
glass.
correctly.
It wasn't made correctly. A bar owner said, "Oh, I can make these work," because in bars back in the day, in the Prohibition, when you're at a bar and they have that like footrest at the bottom,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you can lean on it. So
Mhm.
originally that was made because you could take a martini glass at the time and actually throw it against that if like the cops were coming.
Mhm.
And
There used to be a
behind
little
that
trough in there that would
behind
collect
that
the
thing
glass.
there would be a hole so you
Oh.
could crash your glass
fingerprints.
and then they wouldn't know that you had a drink in your hand.
Why do they have olives and martinis? To hide your alcoholic breath if somebody were
And
to
it
come in and
was-
stop you and question you
Yeah.
about drinking.
So the
Mm.
toothpick with the martini olives, you could take a sip, bite an olive, take a sip, bite an
Yeah, you're
olive,
supposed to have 3 olives.
and then that way if someone were to come in you were safe.
And the other reason for the
Oh,
martini
wow.
glass and why
Well,
they
you
liked
know.
it was if somebody were to ask them the base of the stem, they can hold it behind
yeah,
them and
you
be
could-
like, "Hi, how are you?" And they'd say, "What are you doing?" "What do you mean? What am I doing?"
You
"I don't
could
have anything
fit it-
behind here."
You could fit it in your like
Vest.
the back of the vest
Yeah.
where that like cinching thing is. Anyway, we learned a lot.
Hmm.
and then the bourbon tasting, that was the martini or the pirate night. And I won trivia at the
Ooh.
bourbon tasting. So I won 2 Disney Cruise Line coasters for the 25th
Ooh,
those are
anniversary.
fancy.
Very nice.
Which was really, really
That
cool.
is very nice.
Hmm.
So was this still a
No.
Oh crap! Yeah, there we go. Was this still a
Considered
25th anniversary, or they're just getting rid of stock?
They were getting
Probably
rid of
getting rid of
stock.
Well, my thing with the 25th anniversary sailings is that it didn't last very long. They didn't even do
No.
a full year of them. They did
Not
like
even a full year.
It's like
a half a year, maybe.
if that.
I wonder if it'll be brought back after Halloween, if they'll still have stuff. But
No, I think it's
bartender
done.
was like, he's like, here you go. He had a whole stack of them.
Yeah, he was ready to hand them out.
So I got 3 questions,
Mhm.
so he gave me 3. And then a couple other
There's
people
another one
got.
somewhere.
I gave one to my mom.
Oh. Hi, Rachel.
But these are really sweet. My pro tip for this would be, obviously you can book this when your booking window opens. So if it's 45 days, 60 days, whatever the window is for your like tier of Castaway Club. Every single one that we went to, there were no shows. So you still have to cancel 24 hours in advance. When you're on the ship, if you want to do one, check it, the guest services desk at
Yep.
Port Adventures desk, whichever one it is. And then also just show up. Like the tastings that we went to,
Mhm.
you could have just walked in the door and been charged for it.
Okay.
And they gave a pretty healthy buzz. So
Buzz.
it was worth the $40 to $50 depending on each one. It was very
So
good.
Dawson is asking, was it Disney trivia?
100% loved it. Disney Tunes. They had Marvel, Pixar.
Well, the one that
Old
won
Disney.
this, that was based on the bourbon.
Right.
But there was just Disney trivia all
Yeah.
over.
No, they had scheduled trivia all the time.
Yeah, we did that.
We did the
We did
trivia.
a trivia on
We
Disney,
won.
I think. Didn't we?
We won a tote bag.
Yeah. No, for the
Was-
And we
RC.
Yeah.
won a journal. We wanted to win a hat, but we didn't.
That's right.
Alrighty, so final slide. Wrap it up. Tell us what your favorite thing about the sailing was. And
Aw.
tell us a little bit about all these people. It looks like, are these all friends that you made on the
We
ship?
had a whole
All
family
friends.
that
We
we
knew
made.
almost-
Those are your
Yeah.
vacation friends?
And then the
Vacation
puppers.
friends. And Ruby, the service dog.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ruby the service dog.
Working
if
so
you
hard.
see, there's an officer, a vet that was there with his wife.
His
and
wife, yeah.
that's his service dog. And they dressed up as the characters from Up with Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it was really nice. I would say that much like any cruise line, like you start to notice the same people, you start to have conversations with the same groups of people. And this was an LGBTQIA ally meetup. So these were just folks that we had met, throughout the cruise, and our friends Fifi and Sean are the ones that organized it. So, and Fifi gave me
Nice.
these ears, which I
how
love.
Oh,
nice.
sweet.
I think next cruise, I wanna join the Facebook group for the next cruise, just to see, because Liz
Yeah,
was talking. We were talking about a little bit
Mhm.
about it today earlier in the day, and I haven't really done that or thought about doing that myself, but I think it would be nice. So
Mhm.
just know that for every Disney sailing, somebody creates a
Somebody.
Disney Facebook group.
And
And
take them for what they're worth. They can be incredibly helpful or sometimes incredibly overwhelming
annoying.
and annoying. So if it's even just like a way to search, like if you have a question, search in the group, because someone will have probably asked it within the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
It's a way, if you want to do fish extenders, you can sign up for those. If you want to maybe look for an excursion that's booked and someone might drop it, that was really helpful for folks.
If you have a husband like myself that would like to watch all the sports games, you can get a group
People
together.
coordinating
of fans
for
like-minded.
games. Yeah. So this was a really nice way to kind of summarize the trip. This was on our on the last night. We took this picture together, which was really, really fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then it's kind of hidden, but we did get to go to the spa. So we did a couples massage at Senses, which was incredible. I know that spa appointments, especially on cruise lines, are expensive. You're on vacation. It's worth the money. if you like massages, just do it. Like,
So my question about Sense is, and maybe this didn't happen to you, did they try to upsell you a lot?
so we didn't get taken around like TJ did. I remember that he got like a full tour and
was too
acupuncture
nice.
treatment.
He got taken into a separate room.
That was too
Right?
nice.
You were
Yeah.
taken to another room.
He got taken on for a Census timeshare appointment.
Right?
Honestly.
No, we
Mm.
we didn't. The only thing that we did a couples massage. So the two masseuses asked us, like what do you want massaged?
Yeah.
Matt wanted what would be considered more like deep tissue massage.
Yeah. They're like, do you want more pressure? I was like, yeah, I need you to get into the muscles. They hurt.
So
And they're like, that's
they were
going to cost more.
That's
I'm like,
deep tissue. But
oh.
but the two ladies, they were not like
they weren't
overly
they weren't
pressuring
pressuring
us.
anything.
We really looked
Mm.
out.
Maybe also because you were at the end of the cruise or the sailing.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking, is that because we had an appointment at like 3:00 on the last day, so there wasn't really a cause for like get the rainforest room,
Right.
come back for acupuncture, come do a BMI
Right.
scan with us. Like it was
There-
just
They did offer the steam room afterwards, and they said that if
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't do it because you have another thing going on, you can come back later. You have it set for all day, so if you want to come back in, use the steam room, go for it. So
yeah. The steam room was open like in the men's and ladies locker rooms. You have access until 10:00.
Yep.
So that was really nice.
Now, in the past, you had access to that no matter if you had a rainforest or not. You always had access to that. If you were going to the gym,
To the gym.
you had access to that. So that was, and we've talked about this pro tip, I don't know on this show, but I've talked about it in the past. The pro tip for if you're traveling with people who aren't your spouse or your significant other, if you're traveling with friends, is using the locker rooms as a place to
Yes.
shower, because the showers are bigger. And
they have great amenities in there, like razors,
You looked in the
hair
shower?
dryers. Yeah, like they have a whole like bar setup. They had slippers, like shower shoes.
it's
They
definitely
had
a
bunch
pro
of stuff in
tip.
there.
I was trying to
Definitely
figure
a
out the
pro
blocks.
Oh,
The
Matt.
the
I'm
lockers.
trying to push them. I'm like,
Well,
what is
the-
going on? What does this red light mean? Matt, the red light means it's already used. Use a different one.
Brian and I talked about it quickly, but the rainforest room was definitely busy. Like I was finished getting changed, I was waiting for Matt, and I saw probably 15 people leave and enter the rainforest room, and I'm like,
Oh,
this sounds horrible.
yeah.
So the locker
I don't
room
think we're
was
ever gonna
pretty
get it
full.
like the way we had it.
Yeah.
Like I had to basically wait for someone to unlock a locker for me to use it.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Jeez, that's crazy.
So
Yeah.
it was busy. Out of probably like I would guess 30 to 45 lockers, maybe.
Yeah.
Was it a day at sea?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Probably.
So rainforest is
Why?
always going to be rainforest is always going to be busy a day at sea. If you're like in Nassau at a port where you're maybe not interested in getting off, where you've been there before and you don't need to get off, I always recommend if you don't want to if you've seen it, been there, done that, just stay on the ship, because the amenities on the ship become less crowded.
Yes.
Because people are off the ship and doing whatever they want to do. But if you've seen Nassau once and you don't want to do a specific excursion, you don't need to get off the ship. You just stay on the ship.
I would say we were spoiled with the rainforest room because we
Yes.
booked it during COVID
Yes.
time, so
We had
and
a
we literally had it to
private room.
ourselves.
Yep, we had it to ourselves.
Very
So
VIP.
nice.
Very
Very
VIP. Well, it sounds like a great cruise. So what is kind of like, you can give me like, what is your favorite part overall, and what is like the thing that you wish maybe you had or wish that was different from each of you? And you have 30 seconds, 15 seconds for each answer between the two of you. So 15 seconds for a good thing, 15 seconds for a bad thing for each of you.
Okay, favorite thing for me was the adult area. Like obviously we went with my family, but like having like an adults only area, I didn't feel like I was like in with Disney. They played the top 40 music. I felt like I could maybe be at home at a club. Love that. And also the happy hours. There's happy hours at almost every single bar on board where you get like not half price, 30% off your drink. Thing that I missed was feeling like I was on a cruise.
Okay.
Because we were in port for 3 days and at dinner I couldn't see outside. I would say that.
Okay.
Okay.
My favorite thing, I think, would be all of the other guests as well as like the event staff. I think having
So
everybody
nice.
together, inclusive, the constant conversations. You know, I'm a social butterfly, so having a conversation with anybody about anything, and there's no negativity. They're all happy. I mean, I'm an Eagles fan, and there was a Giants fan. They're like, "What's going on? Let's hang out. Let's be friends." Instead of like hooligans in the back alley. I don't think I had too much of a least favorite thing. I would think maybe the dining experience. I would say some of the food might have been a little bit better quality at certain points. I would say out of like the 8 dishes that we had that was rotation dining, there might have been just one that was somewhat subpar.
Once we had Palo too, I feel like that changed it. Like we probably would have been fine if we never had Palo, but then we had Palo dinner. It was like
absolutely.
Oh, this is food.
So one thing that I'll say is that if you really like something on any of the menus, and you're not at that dining room where they have it on that menu, you could 100% ask the server to, hey, can you get me this entree from that restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they accommodated Liz with that. She didn't even really ask, but she got French onion soup every night or almost every night because she liked it, or Matt asked for it. Okay. So
that and the curry as well. So like I know that they have a lot of crew members on board that eat curry. That's like what they enjoy. So the best thing for this is give them a day's warning, and then they can make sure that they have it for you. So if you do have something that you need, give them the advance warning. You can see all the menus as soon as you hop on the Wi-Fi. Your best bet is to say, hey, I'm thinking that I want this tomorrow, and they'll be able to get it for you.
Yeah. I take it back. The food was great. If I could get Wi-Fi to work, that'd be better.
Yes. Wi-Fi on a Disney ship is not great.
So I'm here to change that thought, because I paid for the Wi-Fi and
that's the thing, you paid for it.
But yours didn't work. No, he's here bashing. No. He signed out of iMessage before we left port.
I don't know how I did that.
I don't know how he did it, but he signed out of iMessage. So Matt lived off the grid for a full week.
I was off the grid.
Yeah, iMessage works. iMessage does work even on the
iMessage works. WhatsApp works for the Android users. You just have to sign up for an account. You can't send pictures. I signed up for the middle package. It was $150 for the 6 days.
Don't tell me that.
And I could send and receive pictures. I could FaceTime. Audio.
You didn't FaceTime me.
Well, I also texted you and TJ, and you never responded to me, so I figured you guys were off the grid.
Sorry. Well, I think it sounds like a great cruise. For me, any Disney cruise is a great cruise. I have not yet been on a long Disney cruise. I've only done 3 or 4 nights. So
guess we got to change that.
We have to change that eventually, but I think we are due for another Disney cruise very soon. I want to do Alaska.
Yeah, I'm down.
I do want to get on the Wish eventually, but thank you so much for coming on, Matt. Thank you for staying for the whole episode.
Yes.
Thank you.
You didn't get bored of us.
But he stayed the whole time.
You got the whole meal.
We got the whole meal. Thank you, everyone who's been watching and following along. Remember, this episode is brought to you by planetwithliz.com. So scan that QR code or go to planetwithliz.com. She will get you a quote. It doesn't have to be just for Disney Cruise Line. It could be for any cruise line, or it could be for any package on land. Anywhere you want to go in the world, Liz can. If you want to go to Antarctica, she can figure that out for you.
But you probably want to go to Evolution.
I was going to say.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
I love you.
So, who did you say that you loved?
I said Maurizio. If you're watching this, I love you.
Oh, well, I'm sure you can send him the link. Thank you, everyone who has been watching all the way through, especially Jazz and Dawson, who's been here the whole time. So we appreciate you guys so much, and we will see you guys. We'll be back next week. We're going to be here next week, so we will see you next week, Mondays. What did you say, Matt?
I'm just kidding.
He said he's making a guest appearance again. We'll see.
Oh, well, you can. All right, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys real soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.